Hello, everybody. Всем привет. So one of my subscribers, followers, peers, whatever you want to call him, this guy Blake at Blake's Sanctum. That's his YouTube channel at Blake's Sanctum. He sent me a link to this. I mean, he also posted it here. I guess he's Blake on the Celestial uh, Havens forum, or Celestial Heavens. Sorry, Celestial Heavens forum. He's been on there for 26 years or 20 years, it looks like, since 2006. So he is definitely an OG in the Heroes community. Um, anyway, he sent me this link to one of the early CES demos. Now, for those of you who are not middle-aged millennials, CES is the Consumer Electronics Show, which was it was a big thing in the 90s where people would present like new electronics, new gadgets, new, like CD-ROM kind of stuff would come out there. And different games and software things would be released too, like Nintendo and Sega and various PC game companies would release things at CES, the Consumer Electronics Show. And so this was a demo that apparently New World Computing had brought to the Consumer Electronics Show. Now, he showed this additional artwork here in this. There's actually a video here which I'll play in a second, and then this nice giant image which I downloaded because it was just so beautiful. Somebody compiled this, and I can show you how to compile this later in later on this video. But it's just this beautiful like full artwork that someone had fun doing. Like I totally want to print this out and put this on my wall. Uh, I mean, just look at this in the back. You've got these beautiful mountains and some kind of warlock zone back here, and who knows what else. And what's interesting is there's actually like additional colors. You see, there's like blue, teal, red, also teal, yellow, and then this kind of peach color here with different. Each of them has different flags, um, and anyway, this was a demo from the Consumer Electronics Show, and there was like like a click. I'm just going to Blake's page here, which maybe it'll take us to it. But anyway, I followed a bunch of links and I found this demo here on dosnostalgia.com/files/heroes1ces.zip. So you can actually download this here on DOS Nostalgia. So I was able to pull this down and I wanted to just have a look at what was inside of it. Now the other, there's two videos here and I'm just going to play those quick. So this is the actual demo from the CES. Like this was a demo video that, if you see this up here, this is the Wake of the Gods. Guys had posted this on their YouTube channel. I don't know if there's music. Yeah, there is music. So you'll notice that OK and cancel are inverted on these. The well and the Thieves Guild location in the castle build screen are inverted. The animations of the tails and the leg and the dwarves are that's actually correct. That looks right. So they're making an army. They also have something like 1,000 of each resource and 900,000. If you actually hex edit a file called orig.bin in the game, you can find it's like a test load of memory. So it was actually like a test value for this. Interesting that it's playing the wrong music for this battle. That's kind of quirky, huh? The flag is animated. That's cool to see. I see a little bit of the animation of the water wheel is animated. The creatures, you'll notice, these guys are not animated. The buoy is, so the environmental ones are, but the creatures are not doing their animation. So this was before they animated the creatures in Monster 32. I should also draw your attention to, so the mini map looks nice up here, but the fire's animated. We have these adventure buttons down here. Instead of this mini summary and the adventure buttons here, the world map, the puzzle map, cast a spell, and dig are all now located here. The kingdom summary, and that was a different menu, or a different dialog box for drawing the mind. I'm just going to zip back to this. So if I pause this here, this is the kingdom summary screen, which makes a lot more sense that there should be like gold stacked. That just makes a lot more sense. And, this is something also, this was the old floppy disk icon, which I don't know if kids today, like the current Zoomers or Generation Alpha, if they even know what a floppy disk is. And yet Microsoft Excel still has that as the save button. Here it's like save game, but also it could be, I think it's like system options or something like that. But yeah, here, so this is like a different menu. The current menu in the new game shows the resource that you're going to get. And here's some nice graphics. And then you'll also notice the castle icons here are the same, but the hero icons were different there. I was just zipping back to this. All those artifacts look the same. But these here, these hero choices, like that, I think those were maybe standard portraits before they made the mini portraits. So that's just kind of weird, quirky stuff that was there. But let's see, there's the animation's going faster on the heroes there. So that was just something the Wake of the Gods fellows had put out. Someone had discovered that. This is a rendering of the initial intro, supposedly. I'm still looking for this file. But you'll notice, just look at the animation. So you've got some palette shifting on the water. These flags are waving. And actually all of these flags on all, there's I count 7 tents plus your castle. And I can't quite see if this one is waving or not. You've got palette tiling, you've got this animation here. And then the creatures are, well, I don't know, they're kind of dancing like they're in some sort of techno rave. Yeah, they're going nuts when the heroes come out. So this is supposedly the long intro, and I've been looking for that, and I haven't quite found it yet. But when I went into this Heroes 1 CES zip file that I downloaded, it's 167 megs. Let's go in and have a look at what's in here. So we get these SMK files, first of all. So this is that text that was just shown in that video by the Wake of the Gods guys. This is that original demo text here. Kind of neat, kind of cool how they did this. And then again, this shining happens much faster in that icon, or in those on the text. Is I guess what I mean by that. This one is this loading. It's called final. So presumably they were still doing sort of drafts of this, and you'll notice the animation is gone on the water here, but it is there on these tents in the background. Now I actually forget, are there tents in the original one when we load it up? Let's just have a quick look just while we're at this, and notice this is the New World Computing logo. Okay, yeah, the tents are there and they are waving. that. So this is, I apologize for the sound. This is going to be weird, so I'm going to quickly stop the sound. The sound of there is a sound that plays here, but I'm sure that it's decoding with like 8-bit or 16, some sort of wrong sampling, so that's why it sounds noisy. But this is actually just a really cool, I mean, I really like this. I want to watch this over and over again, actually. This is like probably a more vintage New World Computing intro animation. And man, I just thought that was really cool to see that. But the main thing that caught my attention here was this KB.agg. So if I go in, I've got a directory. Let's just go in. I've got Windows 95. We get, I think it's in data, heroes.agg. This is like 21 megs or so of data. And this is that origin data bin file that if I load that up in a hex editor, you'll see that's where like those values of like 900,000 gold and 1,000 of each resource, that's where that came from. But let's look at the CES demo here, and here's one CES. So we're looking at this kb.agg file. So I have written on my GitHub, there's Heroes of Might&magic 1 extract, and that's open source code. I just published it out there. It works in, I guess, Python and C++, although I may need to update the C++ to process a few things that I've since discovered. But this kb.agg file, this is an earlier version, and this is 17 megs. So it's missing some data, but it has a lot of similar things in there. And so what I wanted to show you was actually just go through what I've decoded so far. So I'm going to pull this up here. So I have a bunch of things that are unknown, and usually these are like 1 kilobyte files, which this is like my regular heroes directory. The first one that comes up here is spell mouse, and that is also not quite right, but adventure mouse so that's the adventure mouse, and then these are the adventure mice. So we see some similarities between how these things were worked out. So that's like we're looking at the earlier versions of these sprites, which is just kind of neat. We've got combat mouse. Well, let's look at what our combat mouse stuff is here. CMBT mouse, right? So a lot of these are similar, but there's some differences. There's a shooting one here that wasn't there. The swords look a little different. The sword icons a little different. So, and then there's a disc, which is like, what's that for? Why would you need to save? That's just strange. Why would you need to save combat? Maybe they stopped saving in combat. You're not allowed to save in combat. This is cPanel. Do we have anything for cPanel here? We might later. Spells, for example, the spells here. Let's look at spells on the spells. So these are pretty similar. This looks a little different than this, but for the most part, they're pretty similar. But let's start looking for some things that I've observed that are different. So one of those is catapult. So this is our catapult sprite for the original game, and catapult here is 45. So you can look, what they did originally is they broke it into 2 pieces. So 0, 0, and then they added these other pieces of animation here for the rock and the launch. And there's actually like the actual tossing of the rock here is frame 7. So they did some different elements here, and then they had a shadow underneath it here as well in '08 and '00. So they were this. I think this is probably a component of that animation, and you do see it here that this does rock. The catapult does rock a little bit forward relative to the previous frame of animation, but I just thought that was cool. I'm going to go all the way to the bottom here and look at the various these are the various elements of, oh, I'm actually decoding these properly, these object files. I'm not decoding these in my current AGG decoder, and I probably should, because these will break into some different structures. And I can show you that in a second too, because there's something cool I want to show you there. But these are from the original game. We've got some different animation pieces. This is the screen that is presented for, the startup, for credits isn't in there. Oh, that's also an interesting one. Board is also going to be interesting. But this is the startup screen, and in this version, let's have a look here. So board, first of all, shows up with this. It has these weird versions here, and in the video, it wasn't the same as this is presumably the barbarian castle, the warlock castle, the regular castle, and the sorceress castle. Sorceress castle looks the same. These hero types are all different, and it still has these buttons here, which I thought that was kind of neat. This is the heroes BMP in the original KB version. This is the blank hero screen, and look, there's no tents. There's tents here. There's no tents. There's no monsters. There's no flags on this. So what I pieced together was actually here at the end, we have these animated creatures. And if I kind of rotate through these quickly, you can see this is some of the animation of that. So there's a little bit of the creatures there. Here's the castle animation. So if I rotate through those, you can see how that's animating. We have this white tent. So the actual tents in the background we're actually animating. There's like this flag is kind of waving if you look really closely at it. And so there's a number of these different tents. I just made up names for these. But those tents were actually composed there of like elements that are then overlaid over to this. So excuse me. This is the extended title screen. So these are basically both of the pieces of the title screen. And if I wanted to rebuild that video, reconstruct that video that was shown in the Wake of the Gods video from YouTube, what I could do is add in the palette cycling, and I could add in these elements. I could place all of those flag pieces over these. I could add palette cycling here, and I think I said tiling earlier, but it's palette cycling is the correct term. I could add the animation of these flags over this. So I could build all of that manually, and I think that's what somebody did back in 1994. This is a color palette. Some of these screens look similar, some are a little different. This was actually broke. So what they did in the game, the full version of the game, is they broke off these color banners to be a separate piece, and so they built it manually. That is the hero screen, stone back, the different castle screens. That's again that's the blank screen that we would write the tents and the animation of the banners on the castle. That's the New World's computing thing. Then we have these battle screen backgrounds. That's pretty much it all. This one has quit to DOS. It's kind of cool to see. And looking through here, so there's a lot of sound effects. Most of the unknown things are like 1 kilobyte in size. There's one that I think is like a background that I didn't quite get. Here's my recruit buttons, which doesn't have the word recruit. Here's the artifact icons, which all have the same number that you would expect. Those were unchanged, so those weren't changed last minute. The C panel also, it has quit to DOS instead of quit. Let's just look at the crests, see if those changed at all. Those look like they're about the same. Yeah. Portraits of the heroes look about the same. That's Carlon, the sorceress. That's Tyro, a knight. What's our requests? That's just some buttons. If we get into, let's see here. This is the overview screen. We have these hero values. We have the mine overlays. So this all looks correct. The hero screen, these are broken up in the, oh, okay, this is interesting. So this is a new, this was like a ballista. This is not in the original game. So let me just pull up hero screen in this original one here. And you can see what the differences are. So this is just kind of, I mean, this is cool going through the earlier version of the game and seeing what they had and what they took out. I mean, there are a few things that they took out, and it's kind of cool to stumble upon this. It's like a time capsule of sorts. So yeah, hero screen, there's attack is 4, and then 2 is spell power, 1 is defense, 0 is knowledge, and then this 3 here, it's blank. So they blanked it for this. And what it's meant to be is like additional hero characteristics. So that's where they display like your luck and your morale and your experience. But I think originally they were going to show some kind of like ballista siege skill or something like that. Or that was supposed to be the background. They also only had 1 artifact border. Here they have 2. This is the regular artifacts. When you find a regular artifact, you see it's a little plainer on the outside. And I believe this is for when you find the ultimate artifact. I have to verify that because I haven't gone in and tested that. But you know, it's kind of cool to see some of these different values, different sprites. Monsters 32 is the same. Resource 32 also the same, similar frames of animation. We even have this random resource thing, which and random mine. So they were using a map editor. They had the map editor or a version of it for this at that time. That's cool to see. Let's just look at like object 32. So we have fewer things in object 32, I think. So this is 0, 0. This is water. No, actually we have the same number and they look the same. I'm not remembering that correctly then. Building. Let's look at building and see if anything's changed. 34. Nope, that looks identical. I know buy build is slightly different. So in buy build, which should be around here somewhere, they don't have whatever this box is. So they added this in later. I don't remember what that's for. Maybe that's for like a multiplayer game or something. Oh, here's something interesting. So in the planes D4, so the troll actually had animation in the initial version. Go down here and pull this up. Planes D4. This is the final image from the original game, and this is the animated version. You can see there's a little difference here in the sprites around it, and then the water is animated differently. And if we actually go back and look, so the barbarians are unusual in that they have this animation of this river as well. And if we look at this E0 effect, that's actually the same here, but the animation of the troll was taken out of the game. So that's just kind of a neat, weird quirk that was in there. I could probably add it in. That would be kind of a neat discovery. Very subtle. The forest castle, I think everything is animated except the, let's see, except Stonehenge, which is also not animated here in KB. The farm, let's have a look. So the cathedral is animated. The jousting arena, also animated. That's also animated. The colors of the flags, I think, are different in the castle animation. That's D1, right? Nope, that is the forest D1. We want farm D1. Yep, so they changed the colors to purple here. And let's actually have a look at the castle. Farm castle. So these flags were also, these flags became purple. I wonder if these flags, if they just swapped. Yep, so they swapped red for purple on the flags in the castle. So just little weird things that you see that the game designers decided to change. Looking to see if I see more. So these were the sprites of the heroes moving around. That looks fine. The generals menu is also correct, but they have, so the generals menu also has this catapult button, this ballista button. So I believe that is not in the final game. Just gonna have a quick down here. Nope, actually it made it in, but it's not used. So actually, I don't remember. I actually, maybe it's in the game, and I just haven't done a siege in so long. I'll have to confirm that. That maybe you can't surrender in a siege. You have to use. I don't remember what that is. So I thought that was new, but no, those haven't changed. Let's see, is the boulder any different? Going up here to the boulder. Nope, it looks pretty much the same. But one thing I was having a problem with on my previous sprite decodings was I was missing the downward attack frames. And so in the process of decoding these, all these different creatures here, all of these different sprites here, I'm trying to find where's our peasant? He's the best example. Okay, well, let's just look at wolf. So that's the wolf walk in place. Maybe we have it further down. No. Okay, here's some more frames of this. So let's see what our ghost is. So this is like the ghost attack screens. That's cool. Still looking for the peasant, but they're just kind of randomly ordered. These aren't really alphabetical. The wolf. So here we have these downward attack frames. In the course of doing this, my previous versions, I wasn't actually capturing the animation frames. I wasn't decoding these correctly somehow. And so I wasn't getting these downward attack frames, and I wasn't getting, like if I find the druid here, or I can probably just pull up the archer. That's probably an easy one. So the archer frames, I was missing his downward attack frame, but also I now have all the projectiles. So I was missing some of these. So somehow I wasn't decoding those sprites correctly. And by going through this exercise of pulling down the KB.agg and decoding it and trying to decode this, I came up with a system that was working better. If I pull up my previous attempts at this, I can show you what I'm talking about with the sprites here. So these were like my previous attempts. I was only getting a few of these frames. I wasn't getting all of the frames in the end. So like this was like my latest versions. And if we just look at Archer, we only had these 3 arrows. We weren't getting all of the arrows that we get here with the Archer, which should be here. So we're missing some of these frames, and there's, we're getting most of this here. I mean, you could see how you could build these frames from this, but I wasn't, I was missing basically this frame and this frame. Or actually, no, I was missing this frame and this frame. So I was missing 6 and 9 on the attack sprites. And I had thought, oh, well, this one, you probably just rotate this or like reflect this over the x-axis, and that gives you this. And same with this one, you just reflect it and it gives you this. So that's what I thought was going to happen, but now I'm getting proper decodings. Here, like with my peasant, I don't have the downward attack frame. I was not able to pull that out. So I was like, well, how do I attack? I can attack up, this is the up attack frame, and I can attack forward, but I didn't see the downward attack frames. But on here, I got a little more excited because I could actually find the peasant attack frame. When I find the peasant, I'll show you. There he is. So I had this frame. This was the frame that I was missing. I couldn't find this. And so then after decoding this, or doing the new decoding, which basically I incorporated what I learned from this process, which was that basically these sprite files are a form of ICN file and can be decoded this way. Then it started decoding things for me in a way that I could make sense of, and we see suddenly this frame, same data, just decoding it actually properly. So I got this missing frame, so now I can actually get back to fixing my battle animation, because that is definitely one of the weaknesses of my current game build. A lot of it looks okay. Some of the menus are a little off, but like when you look at the battle, it's just kind of horrible and gross, and the animation's barely functional. And a lot of that was because I didn't really have the info for how to correctly put these pieces together. And I wonder if these are shadows. 9 through 17 is 9 items. And I have 9 frames. I still have no idea what this is. It's some kind of like offset fact. I don't know. I don't know what that is. So so I have to delete this frame, focus on these frames, and I'm probably going to have to write some kind of custom orientation piece for each creature. But the whole thing is pretty cool. Made some progress on the decoding. After I get a little more work done on this KB extract, I will also be adding that and my updated Heroes of Might and Magic 1 extract. I'll be uploading that in the GitHub repo. So anybody who wants to play around with this, of course, can. All of this is out there available for free on the internet. So go have fun with it. So I was digging some more through the KB.agg file that came in the 1994 CES demo, I think. And the most interesting one is the mountain Hydra. Like, this is the swamp. It's this weird weeping willow tree. And then actually underneath that is this animated Hydra head that's kind of peeking out from under the tree. That was the original structure animation, which is pretty cool. I was just amazed to discover that. Also, D1 is Griffins. So that's really strange that it's a Griffin. And there's the animation looks a little different. So they were definitely tuning this art. D2 is the crypt with the gargoyles, and there's sort of a red background to it. That was actually animated, so that's cool to see. But they swapped griffins and gargoyles in this version. Now the maze is also this is the maze, and it looks like there's some kind of weird webs over this maze. This green stuff. I don't remember if this was in the original or not, but then there's these strange like vines that are growing on the maze. Like look at that again. So this is like the maze has like a shimmer to it with growing vines. So they took that out for the final version. So in addition to the purple and red flags being swapped in the farm, which is, I guess, the knight's castle, we saw that. I also wanted to show you hero stand, which I could probably look up the number, and also let's look up 319. So 319 is locators. So these are these additional sort of placeholder locators. That's the warlock, the sorceress, this is the barbarian, and this is the knight. So these were the generic placeholder locators. It looks like actually the castles and such are relatively unchanged in the actual locators, but when we looked at them on the actual board, it was they did have some different values there. And let's see, there was another one I wanted to show, which was the hero standing, and I think I made a note of all of this in the MD file that's in the repo. Maybe I can find it here. Standing heroes is 46. There's 626 of these. It's hard to remember all of them at the same time. Here it is. So these were, instead of the tents, because there is no tent here, we have the knight, the barbarian, the sorceress, and this guy. Now I think that these are kind of similar to what ended up in the kingdom overview screen. These were like the generic placeholders, and so I think they put them there instead. But I believe these were for the battlefield tents. So someone has suggested that I could put that in the in the game in lieu of tents, and maybe I could. I kind of like it actually, but we'll see. It's an option. I definitely have the sprites to do it now, and I even have the spec that tells me about how big they are. They're actually all exactly the same size. Looking at that. So anyway, there's the unknown entries I just leave as binary files, and most of those are just window layouts. And I want to show one more thing that I did here, which was decode. I decoded these combined frames. So we have ogre attacking across, attacking down, attacking up. So these were actually these broken animation frames, and I did my composite structuring, which I figured out how to do. And I figured this out because I went in and reverse engineered this after somebody told me about it. And I'm still just super thankful to Blake for bringing this up. And that helped me figure out how to decode these, well, the standard sprites, the walk sprites, the attack sprites, and the whip sprites are actually all ICN files. And so when I decoded them as such, it became much easier to work with, because previously I had gone through and done a manual offsetting and manually computed those values because I wasn't getting the spec out of it. And that was a kind of a pain and took some time and wasn't as functional as I would have liked. I mean, it did end up working in the end, but you know, now I'm just happy I don't have to do that again. So yeah, and I added in like the standard tile stuff. Oh, this is one more interesting thing to see. So we do have some slight differences in the objects. This is an entirely different stump in grass. And we have, I guess this is a bigger stump in degrass. In snow, maybe those are the same. Those look the same to me. Swamp, I think those look the same also. Lava looks the same. And desert, I don't think we had this one in desert. So I think this strange sinkhole in desert is, well, that wasn't there. So yeah, there's just lots of like little differences. And I'm just looking at the castle walls here quickly to check if there's any. Maybe the floor. I don't remember what the floor is in the siege of the sorceress's castle. But everything else looks pretty standard.